Aloha friends, and welcome back to my channel. I know it is not Moonday, and um, I wasn't able to get out to record the Moonday message yesterday, and I knew that there were messages that want to come through, and I had some really awesome meditations where I got some divine downloads, and I just asked Spirit, is it too late to, post something that was supposed to start as of yesterday, and of course I heard it's never too late. So this is this week's Moon Day messages, and the first thing I want to say is that there has been an upgrade in the divine masculine, and the upgrade happened over this past weekend. So interestingly enough, I met with a good friend, and it seems like the men in our lives were all away for the weekend, and so maybe that resonates for you too, maybe not. But there was something deeper there that we felt we had to tap into. And so when we did, we got that the divine masculine was getting an upgrade. Now, this upgrade isn't happening just for men, just for the men in our lives. It's also happening to our divine masculine within. It's um, it's balancing out. So the feminine has been working so hard to take back her power, to use her voice to be who she is authentically. And the masculine has kind of been sitting back through it all and just letting her do her thing. And it was time for our inner masculine to come forward and say, okay, now it's time for me to catch up. It's time for this to balance out, and we can be in our power, both in our feminine power and in our masculine power, and have really great things from that space. So hopefully you don't mind the interference with everyone walking by, but I just felt like this was a nice little shift from um, from the last nature scene, I guess, that I let y'all listen to these messages with. So I don't mind the people walking by. It's good energy here. I feel the shift. Definitely the masculine is ready to take lead again. And what I mean by that is lead with the strength and courage and power of the divine feminine behind it, right? Because within, the divine feminine represents our creativity, our flow, our nurturing aspect, our self love, right? And our masculine is our action forward, get things done, protector, provider type energy. And we all carry both of those energies within us, both the divine masculine and the divine feminine. So while our divine feminine was coming into her creatrix energy and getting back into the space where it was fun to create again and to open up to new ideas and to give ourselves some self-love and nurturing, our masculine has been sitting by the wayside. And now it's time for them to come forward together in union. And union in that it's the perfect balance between the two, where we can tap into our creative side and use our creative feminine side, and use our masculine action forward side to get things done. So it really is pushing us. Okay, they want me to redirect that word, not pushing, propelling us into all new timelines. So big shifts happened this past weekend. You may have felt it. It feels a lot lighter. Now there is still some purging that's happening through the body, so some tension, headaches that are happening, and that's just so that we can open up to our intuition even more so. Um, some movement in the throat and in the upper shoulders. It's lifetimes of not being able to speak our truth or feeling held back, and we're shifting out of that and able to open up to really being our authentic selves, expressing it and putting action to it, doing something about it, not just being in the expression ourselves at home where we're comfortable, but actually going out and sharing this with the world, and um, being able to collaborate, to bring together new communities, to find our soul tribes, and to actually just have fun, to get back out there. I know for self, and I was speaking to another soul sister recently, that it's been so much healing for the past 5 years. It's just been nonstop, go, 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 heal this, like continuous work, right? And whether we continued on the path or we veered off for a while, it still seems so serious. And what our guides want, what our team wants, is for us to get back into the energy of fun, of play, of joy, of experiencing life, of tasting the chocolate, of not needing to have such serious, in-depth conversations anytime we connect to somebody. We could talk about the weather, or we could talk about, a television show, or whatever it may be that feels like shallow or mundane. We can open ourselves back up to recalibrate into those spaces where we can also have those higher vibrational conversations, and yet we can still come down and taste the chocolate and be a part of the real world, because this is where it's at. This is where we are, right? Our human bodies are here to enjoy and feel into this experience in all aspects. And so our team is saying, like, enjoy it, go out, enjoy. Like, this little spot here was someplace I've driven by many, 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 many times, never realized I could actually park in here, and and get out and, like, get in the water, and it's so easy. And you see, like, I don't know if you can see off towards the right side, there's people surfing, there's like some younger people just playing and splashing around in the water. And even though it seems kind of gloomy today, the shift is happening with Mother Gaia. She is taking back her power, y'all. She is okay, it's because of the masculine shift. Thank you, guides, for bringing that in. It's because of the masculine shift. She has been working so hard on taking back her power and taking back her land, and cleansing, the air, the water, the land, of all of the toxins and the shit that's been pumped into her for centuries. She's been working so hard to clear that, and that's why we have seen some big, what people would call natural disasters happening. And also, she's back in line with the masculine. So the masculine is ready to move forward. It's like, you know what? F these chemtrails. We're gonna, we're gonna bring in these real clouds. We're gonna bring in some rain. We're gonna purge. We're gonna get all this out. So there's so much happening right now with the masculine and feminine coming into union. Such a powerful place to be. And there's gonna be so much more of it, that, so much more good stuff that's going to come of it. Okay, they want me to move on. So, well, what's interesting, and I will put this, I'll put the picture of this card up. I did pull an oracle card for today, and oh man, excuse me. I am still going through this purification for self. But what's interesting and what made me laugh was, I wrote down these notes from the divine masculine and feminine coming into balance, and the meditation that I worked through, and I was called to the Sacred Creators Oracle this time. And when I pulled the card, I just pulled it right before, I parked. I grounded my energy, I opened my channels, and then I pulled the card. And the card that came through was Welcome the Divine Masculine. You guys, I cannot make this up. It blows me away every single time that these messages come through, and they're so spot on. So I am going to read from the book for this. So just to give you some more insight. So it says essential meanings of the divine masculine, of welcoming the divine masculine, are the yang energy, passion, creativity, providing for others, strength of spirit, warrior soul, knowledge, a gifted leader, true entrepreneurial spirit, stability, friendly, and positive competition. And then the self-care message is being authoritative instead of cooperative, falling into the trap of scarcity thinking, placing too much energy on competition, spending time finding new opportunities instead of nurturing the ones you have, and a lack of motivation. So these are things that, if you've experienced any of these things, if you feel like you're being more authoritative in spaces instead of cooperative, check yourself, right? If you feel like you are falling into scarcity thinking and you feel like there's not enough, or you don't know how you're going to make something happen, check yourself. If you feel like you're putting too much energy into competition, check yourself. If you're spending too much time looking for new things while not nurturing the ones that you have, check yourself. And if you have a lack of motivation right now, a lack of moving forward, check yourself. And check yourself specifically, they're telling me with the lack of motivation is, what is it that, go deep and ask yourself, what is it that really motivates you? For me, for a long time, fear motivated me. You know, I've shared this story before. I grew up with a lot of trauma, and fear was my motivation because I was scared that I wasn't going to get out of the places that I was in many times. So my motivation was that fear. Now, I've since shifted that, thank God, and gotten myself out of scarcity. And what I also heard is that the shift that's happening out of scarcity right now, if you've been growing through hard times, if you've been feeling like, man, I know something has got to shift, and I know that I deserve more than this, and I know that I've been surrendering and trusting, and I have this inner knowing, and you feel like things haven't shifted yet, know that it is because, I got this deep in meditation the other day, it is because we are shifting out of scarcity forever. Forever. We are never going to have to be in that scarcity mindset ever again. So if you have been feeling like everything's too much, like the tower moment, it's all, happening, and you still continue to surrender. Now, let me tell you what I mean by that. Last year, my husband and I were a bit displaced. Our landlord came to us, told us he wanted to use our spot for an Airbnb. He would make more money that way, and we had to get out very quickly. Now, there were neighborhoods and places that we could have moved to easily and moved into those spaces and settled or taken a step back from where we were, right? It was like we could have gone to a place where we wouldn't have felt as safe, especially myself when my husband wasn't around, right? Or a neighborhood that was really just loud and chaotic and had a lot going on. Or, there were certain things that we could have shifted into very easily to be in the comfort zone of having a home, of not being displaced, of not being, without. And instead, the energy that, we felt, and I felt this deeply, and I told my husband, we're not going backwards. We are not going backwards. We are not meant to be in this space anymore. We've outgrown the space that we're in. That doesn't mean that we go back to the places that we were before we got here. It doesn't mean that we go back to our comfort zone. It means that we bear with this uncomfortability and level up. And however long that takes, we're going to do it. And we did, y'all. We were, we lived out of our car, out of hotels. We stayed with friends a couple times. I mean, we did it for many months, and we persevered. We got through it, and we learned so much in that time, and it was so powerful for us. So if you've been surrendering, if you've been trusting, if you've been saying, you know what, I know that the universe has better for me, I know that I deserve better, and you've been feeling into that and trusting and surrendering, even though it has been so uncomfortable at times, know that it is because you are shifting out of scarcity for this lifetime. You will no longer need to be in scarcity ever again. Okay? This is a big, big shift. That's why it's taking so long. I see 15:15 as I say this. Okay, so I'm going to get back to the book. It says, here comes the sun. The energy of the divine masculine is bright and fierce. It can warm hearts, break down barriers, and inspire minds. It can grow food for thought, and it can feed a village. This is an auspicious card that promises luck, positivity, and success, and your yang hunter spirit is being called forth to stand up and claim these gifts. Passive waiting is not the answer right now. Go get that thing you've been dreaming of. Make your move. This enthusiastic, creative energy is ready to set your path on fire. So step up to the challenge being presented and lovingly slay it. Psst, you are so ready. As with all fiery forces, managing your energy and stamina will be important. Not enough, and you have a failure to launch. Too much, and you can burn out all too quickly before it fully develops. Seek the Goldilocks zone, where the right amount of this inspirational energy will fill you with creative passion and with its longevity. Get ready to expand and move with happiness in your heart. It's a beautiful card. I will post a picture of it for y'all. And it says, your yang fire energy. Is it too much or too little? Right? We want to keep the fire going. We don't want we don't want to put everything in the fire and have it burn out so fast that we have nothing left. And we don't want to slowly put things in the fire that it burns out so slow and we can't keep it going. We want to keep that energy moving. Okay, and then some journal topics for you. Are you still as passionate about your journey as you were when you started? Oof. I felt that one, y'all. I think it's time for me to sit down and do this journal as well. So, are you still passionate about your journey as you were when you started? And what's changed? And, how has it changed? Dive deep into that in your journal. And then, what do you love most about the path that you're on? Why do you do what you do? And what is your big why? What is your big why, right? Why are you who you are? Why do you do the things you do? All about you. Y'all, this feels so good. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I just want to check, are there any last messages? I know we just went through the 5-5 portal and that felt really good. And I just want to see if there's any other messages. Okay, they're saying, surrender your need to know, trust and open up, stay curious, and understand that things are happening in divine timing. Okay, so ask yourself, are there any secrets that you've been keeping from yourself? Are you staying in any relationships out of fear? Y'all, I did this. I asked myself this. And when I asked the secret that I'm keeping from myself, it was the beauty of my own divine light. And I feel like that's so many of us. So many of us. Right? And then when I asked, what are you staying in a relationship out of fear? And I got fear of not knowing what will happen if you leave or do things differently. And yes, there are relationships, there are familial relationships that I have stayed in when I know that they are complete, the contracts are complete, it is time to move on. And there's this little tiny bit of fear that still fills into this, of the inner child not feeling safe to let go, not feeling safe to speak her truth, not feeling safe to be herself authentically. And that's shifting, y'all, with this balance, with the masculine and feminine. It's time. It's time for us to let go of that fear. And be honest with yourself. Have a radical, fierce honesty and self-love for you and how far you've come on this journey. My goodness, it is not easy, y'all. These journeys, these self-healing journeys, these shifting into higher levels of consciousness, they are not easy. But let me tell you, they are so, so, so worth it. They are so worth it. All right, so commit to growing, trust, know that everything is happening divinely, and honor that masculine feminine unity that's coming in. If you're feeling like you need to move your body more, sway your hips, play with that sacral energy. Maybe do some tantra or listen to some tantric music and move your body. It's going to be really good for you. And I just want to make sure any last messages that I'm missing out on. No, I just keep hearing trust. Trust. Trust, 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 trust. Oh my goodness, I can't stop saying it. All right, y'all. It has been a pleasure. Thank you for your patience. And I will look forward to connecting with y'all next week. Take care. Adios.